Last night at services, I mentioned that there's what I consider to be a revolutionary verse within our Torah portion, which is actually the one that Dave was pointing us towards. There are actually, I think there are two revolutionary verses. The one is at the very beginning, and the one at the end that Dave referenced. The one at the beginning is the one that opens up our Torah portion. You stand this day, all of you, tribal heads, elders, officials, men, women, children, even the stranger, everyone, from the person who chops the wood to the person who draws the water, all of you have entered into this covenant with God. And not only that, not only everyone who's here, but everyone who's not yet here. Think about that. Think about ancient society and even post-ancient society. The notion that some kind of divine revelation was available to everyone, not just to a small class of people who are protecting it and guarding it and in effect sometimes hiding it from the masses of people. But this is available to everyone, and everyone is equally entering into it, equally a part of this covenant. I think it's quite a radical statement. And the other radical statement is the one that comes towards the end, where God says, I have placed before you life and death. Choose life. B'charta b'chayim. Then, as I mentioned last night, the notion that we should choose life doesn't seem so radical. What's the option? Choose death? But in fact, that's the way the valuation worked, particularly in ancient societies, where death was considered to be the preeminently powerful force in the world. And so some cultures actually worshipped death. They had death cultures. Some cultures sought to appease death by engaging in human sacrifice of some kind. Some cultures merely sought to emulate death by elevating as the highest figure within the society the warrior, the person who goes out and conducts war and kills people and destroys other societies. And other people, in a sense, accommodated themselves to the power of death by then creating a mythology that says, there's a better life that awaits us after we die. And so death, in a sense, is an entrance into a better, more perfect life. And Judaism ultimately rejects all of those, although to some extent it plays with some of those different ones. And we've all acknowledged that in our reading here of Torah, because some of us become very upset when we see about, go forth and destroy these people and defeat these people. So that voice is in here too, but ultimately what our tradition elevates above all else is life and love. And that notion of elevating life above all else, I suggested last night, is reflected in the verse from Isaiah, where Isaiah says, God is going to destroy death. And on one level, in the historical level, the word for death, which is used here in Hebrews, mavet, is also in the Ugaritic text, is the name of the god of death, mavat. And so it may be that on one level, it's referring to Adonai is going to defeat the Ugaritic god of death called mavet, but it continues to influence Jewish thinking and goes beyond that mythological interplay and becomes more of a philosophical and theological sense, which is ultimately captured by the main rabbinic enterprise, the Talmud, which instead of creating a very comprehensive theory about life after death, which many religions have, Judaism and the rabbis just kind of ignore the whole thing, or they play with many different possibilities, but instead what the Talmud does is it creates 63 volumes about how to live this life, and that becomes the main thrust in Jewish tradition, which is not how to prepare yourself for a better life after death or looking forward to life after death. Jesus, no, our main mission here is to live this life and to sanctify it.